For any former NFL players, maybe.
Bussing guys?
Bussing. I think I could get Compton.
Remember last time you said that?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but I'm still going to come at his ass. I don't care. Now, guys,
Hey,
saw
Bill.
the Barbie movie finally.
Let's talk. You know how I feel about it. Everyone knows. I think everyone knows how I feel about the Barbie movie.
I thought it was hilarious.
Good, Billy.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. My
Good,
favorite part
Billy.
is when Ken discovered patriarchy, and they showed him discovering the male world, and him just that was I was almost pissing my pants with laughter when he was going to the school library and finding out about patriarchy, and he was in horses. That was so funny.
And he's like, I'll take a high-paying, high-influence job.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually, now that we're talking about it with you, you are so Ken.
What? I'm
You are-
podcast Ken?
Your job is talking. Your job is podcast.
My job is podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I think the similarities are strong and plenty with between you and Ken.
The funniest thing was Ken didn't have a job. He was just Beach Ken.
He's just Beach Ken.
Beach Ken.
Yeah.
My job
and the whole
isn't even lifeguard.
I get the whole flip side, how they're saying Barbie world. I mean, when Barbie first comes to the real world and she's going to a construction site and expecting to see serious female energy, that was just hilarious. And Will Ferrell made the movie for me. That was one of the reasons I went to see the movie. I was like, Will Ferrell's in it? Okay, it'll be legit.
Interesting that was your number one.
Will Ferrell?
Yeah, because I feel he wasn't that big of a part in the movie, but he's hilarious.
He wasn't, but he got me to go see the movie because I was like, oh, if Will Ferrell's in it, it's gonna be pretty funny.
Yeah. I want to see it a third time in the theaters. I just love that movie. I'm gonna buy it when it comes to streaming services, or I can just buy it on Prime Video or something, because I love that movie. I just want to watch it again and again. But
also, the one part sorry to interrupt. No. That's such a non-Barbie world thing. That's a real world. Male interjection. Sorry.
You're fine.
See, it's femme-pilled me. But one of the coolest parts was the history of Barbie. They interjected because it's really funny that they had a discontinued pregnant Barbie. They had a discontinued. I didn't know there was a boobs growing Barbie.
Yeah. So I went for the second time with my mom. And obviously she grew up in the time where all of those Barbies were coming out. I wasn't a big playing with Barbies person growing up. And she every time a new Barbie came on screen, she'd be like, oh, I had that Barbie, I had that Playhouse. And she was like, Skipper, the one that grows boobs, was my favorite Barbie. And I was like, what do you mean that was your favorite Barbie? She's like, I loved Skipper because she was the teenager, cool girl. And I was like, she grew boobs. And she was like, yeah, that's just what it was. I don't know, wasn't it isn't it sick?
That's so funny.
But yeah. And she's like, I had midge. My mom ate it up in terms of just Barbie lore. Because you learn a lot.
The first scene being a ripoff of 2001 Space Odyssey was also hilarious. I was just like, oh shit. But and also the Ken battle scene was a mixture of Troy and Band of Brothers D-Day scenes.
Okay, I'm gonna be so real.
Not Band of Brothers.
Either of those.
Saving Private Ryan D-Day.
Oh,
which was weird. There's certain shots that they just recreated with the Ken characters that were almost shot to shot, just like Space Odyssey, but with Troy and Band of Brothers. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if there's any other movie references that they put in there.
There were,
copied scenes.
I read a whole thing about it of the different movies that Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach kind of took inspiration from and recreated 2001 A Space Odyssey and stuff like that. And there was, I think Singing in the Rain, there was a reference or something. There was a ton. Yeah, I did love the Kenergy song. I'm just Ken.
Oh, that song is so good.
Yeah.
It's all over my
Anywhere
Oh, and then
else I'd be
there's-
a 10.
Yeah, and then there's that one part in that song when like one of the dances that he does is the same dance that Ryan Gosling did when he was on like the Mickey Mouse.
Or
Clubhouse?
La La
Yeah.
Land?
No, not La La Land. It was like
Oh.
the Mickey Mouse Kids or whatever the fuck it was called. Someone's
Yeah.
gonna come at me, but like whatever he got his start in, the Mickey Mouse Kids
Okay.
group. But yeah, I'm glad that is the mark of a good guy. Good guy Billy liked the Barbie movie and enjoyed the Barbie movie. And
I enjoy. I mean, I get the whole like the double entendre, like Barbie set a crazy standard and that stuff. Totally understand that, but the funniest thing was that like the Ken empowerment scene. It was like Rocky Balboa in a fur coat. Like the stuff that stuck with him, I thought was so funny. And when they came back to Barbie Land, it was like brewski. Like, yo, get me a brewski.
I love when they're watching The Godfather and and Issa Rae comes in and she's like, "Oh, are you watching The Godfather?" And then he explains like the lore of The Godfather to her because it's like it's just like every guy ever is like The Godfather's the best movie ever. And I like saw there was a TikTok of every Letterboxd review of Barbie that had like a 1-star review, and then the girl would go to their Letterboxd and all of these guys, it was like Barbie's so annoying, and all of their 4 favorites was Godfather or Godfather or Goodfellas.
That's funny.
But yeah,
It's just funny because a lot of it's so true.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, it is.
the
that when
Mojo
you
Dojo.
You are Billy. The part of my take studio is in fact a Mojo Dojo Casa house.
It's the Kendom.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is.
like
You wrote
that
Billy's
girl
office on the door. I mean, like,
Yeah,
you have truly
the Mojo.
unironically
No,
made it a Mojo Dojo house.
I admit, like, you know, it is unapologetically. But if you can't, like, if you see that and can't laugh at that, but like still love The Godfather, still love all like the Ken interests, then
Right.
you got a real problem.
Or when he's like, I kind of got disinterested when I learned patriarchy isn't about horses.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of a
Just-
lot of things that you would say, like, oh, I kind of got disinterested once I learned what it was actually about, or something like that.
It's not about dinosaurs. What the fuck?
Right. Yeah. You should get the LCB put out a shirt that says patriarchy in Barbie font, and it's just a picture of a horse.
I might get that Ken Enough T-shirt.
Oh, I am
I am
enough.
Ken Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the movie that I saw your tweet last night that you put a whole entire Chick-fil-A deluxe meal in your cargo shorts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I ask a breakdown of what pockets hold what and how you like kind of fix
All
a
right.
drink in there too?
I was gonna say, yeah, because you
All right.
had a drink.
Yeah.
You said, right?
The drink's the hardest part.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you need
I would
to get.
assume.
Here's the cheat code. You need to get the Chick-fil-A for pickup, so they put the Uber Eats stuff on
Oh, like
the drink.
saran wrap and stuff.
Smart.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta get a good set of cargo pants or cargo shorts. I was going. So the 2 side pockets, that's where you hit fries and the sandwich, and then you put sauces in the fork. You know, I actually also got some mac and cheese, which actually adds it up. But
Goat.
that mac and cheese is sealed. Remember, pickup. So
Right,
they put the
pickup.
tape on
Right,
it.
right.
Mac and cheese goes back right pocket. Drink goes
Yeah.
back left pocket. Longer T-shirt, put it over, and then sauces and utensils in front pockets.
And not one leak.
Well, you gotta just like, it's not that bad unless you're doing something crazy. Like the studio, when you're going to the theater, like once you get past the person in the front,
Right, then it's like who cares?
definitely doesn't care.
No.
Then
That's
you
what
go
the whole
straight
thing
in.
is. I just don't know if it's even that big of a deal anymore. Like I
know.
feel like you don't even need to have that level of secrecy or
Right.
cargo anymore. You know what I mean?
It was more fun in like middle school and high school, and I didn't really
Yeah.
go to movies in college.
right.
Yeah.
So
that
now I'm
used
just
be
trying to
a
like
huge
catch that
thing.
same high.
I know. Now that I've seen Barbie twice, and I haven't really seen a ton of movies since COVID, obviously, but like you do forget how fun of an experience going to the movie theaters is until you're there and you're like, this is like a nice little couple hour just break.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
not
going
on
to the movies.
Yeah, I'm not on my phone. You know, I'm just kind of hanging and I'm just watching a good movie, getting some good popcorn. Like I kind of
Yeah.
forget the nostalgia and like just good vibes that a movie theater has. Our friend Bob, who does The Dozen and LCB, goes to like 4 movies a week. He has one of those like the
pass.
rewards because
Yeah.
obviously he has to see a lot of movies for
Right.
work. And there is no one who has like curated a vibe quite like him for a movie theater. And he'll go on like a Sunday at 10:30, like hungover. He'll roll up and like that's how he gets rid of the hangover. It's just like watching whatever A24 movie just got put out.
Yeah, that is kind of nice.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I just gotta figure things out here. I gotta figure out where anything is here. Me and Mackenzie just talk about that. I just don't know
How's
where
moving to
anything
Chicago
is.
for you guys?
It's good. I was telling Mackenzie, I've been through a bit of a process for just like setting everything up and just being alone and being like, I have to do this all on my own. But I'm finally kind of like settled. I just don't know where anything is, which I don't like. I don't like feeling not settled, and I don't feel like feeling like a stranger in my own home. And like New York's so easy because it's grid. So I'm like, okay, it's like the John Mulaney joke. Like if I need to get to like 15th and 1st and I'm on 26th and 2nd, like I know where to go. Like you can do math.
Yeah.
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 Here I'm like still learning all the street names and like, okay, this is on this street, but where, like, it's just all of that kind of stuff. And I just don't know where anything is yet. And it's kind of just frustrating.
There's a lot less people like out.
Yeah.
It's more like spread out. So that's been like,
It's creepy.
it's a little different. Because at least in New York, if there's a crazy person on the street, there's like
30
12
other
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, doesn't matter. But here it's like
If it's you and a crazy guy,
a little bit desolate. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
just for like random parts of wherever.
Ooh,
Right, and
that's
yeah, especially as a girl,
bad
I
for
kind
you
of
guys.
I'm
Yeah.
way more nervous here than I was in New York because of the just less amount of foot traffic that's going on here.
Yeah.
And
It'll just take like getting used to.
Right.
But yeah, because like
Right.
New York is just completely different.
people
Yeah.
always say like New York and Chicago are basically the same. I do not think so at all. But it's just and we're Mackenzie and I live in the same neighborhood, and where we live is just not as big of a walking around area.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem.
There's
so,
like
yeah.
certain parts, but then like you walk one street and there'll be like a bunch of stores and restaurants or whatever, but then like down the street there's nothing. So it's
Right.
like that'll take some getting used to.
Right. Yeah. It's just kind of scary being alone for the first time. But that's just like that would be anywhere.
well, you guys got
life.
each other, like maybe for the first
Yeah,
couple.
exactly.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Big T texted us last night. Like it will be nice when everyone's here and the office
The
is
office
open.
opens. Yeah, I think it'll
Yeah.
be.
Because that'll be like great because all of us are kind of, all in the same area, and then we'll all, it'll just be like normal, like in New York where we were all kind of together all the time. Right now
Yeah.
it's just a different vibe. I'm not used to it quite yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
it's
How's
dope.
New York?
New York's
How are the vibes
cool.
over
A lot of cool stuff happening at the office. I made my sketch comedy debut last
I
week.
saw you were in
Yeah.
Out of Order.
Yeah, it was just a small part, but
Yeah. How'd you
fun
feel
stuff happened.
about that? How was that?
it went well. It's the whole vibe's fun. We have like writers meetings. I used to love watching SNL growing up, and I'm just like everyone's kind of going for those vibes, which is fun because everyone's collaborating, like making ideas. Like I might write a song. So you guys heard Richmond, North of Richmond, like the song that went viral
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we listened to. So I was thinking like, what if I like wrote a song that was like parody, but just like hit all the right wing talking points and then like put it to a tune and then just see if it could go viral. And that's just a sketch. And like, I don't know, Francis roasting my first writing thing on the Yak because he
yeah.
had nothing
Oh, I
else
didn't
to
see
bring
that.
to the table. Like
I didn't
I
see
just
that.
I just started writing. Like, come on. Like,
Right.
just
It's a process.
you get on the Yak one day. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk shit, but it hasn't discouraged me from just keeping it going.
Do you have a
Because
desk?
it's fun. I don't have a desk. I have an office. It's
Okay.
my
What-
my Kendom.
What are you gonna
Over
What are you
here.
gonna do when that turns into Barbie Land?
I'm gonna ask if I can chill. No, that won't happen. I'll probably get a desk. Honestly,
You'll join Plan B.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just join Plan B. I'll just be in the corner, just like with a desk, and they'll just be like, "Hey, we need a male perspective," and I'll be like, "I just won't talk any other time."
Yeah.
If they really need me, hopefully.
Only when called upon.
Right. You and Zach Bryan are the male figures on Plan Bri Uncut now. That's how that
Has
would
he
go.
been talking on it?
They talk about him on there. He's I think had a slight cameo. He'll be in the background of some
Background of like a
shots.
Zoom.
Yeah. He's just singing Revival in the back at a low tone. Also,
Seeing that
how are you-
firsthand was nuts.
I know. Also, what we were talking about before, how are you feeling from this morning?
Oh yeah. So I kind of finally tested positive for alpha-gal syndrome, which was kind of nice because before, like, if you hadn't noticed, like on a couple episodes of, Pardon My Take, Macrodosing, my face just looked fucking terrible. Like I had like swollen lip, fucked up red marks and shit. And I like didn't really want to talk about it till I really knew what was going on. But I got bit by the Lone Star tick and I made some content out of it at the time. I was like, holy shit, I might not be able to eat red meat or exercise or drink alcohol. And I probably jinxed myself because it ended up happening. So, it took a lot of different allergists and I was lucky, but also I was lucky that I didn't go into anaphylactic shock any of the times it happened. Like my throat didn't close up. I just got hives and my face like would blow up, look like I went 12 rounds with Muhammad Ali and my like. But I mean, there's so many people with way worse medical problems than not being able to eat red meat. But like,
So are you just not
I was
allowed
just
to
gonna,
eat it anymore?
basically, basically I can eat it, but I have to take a shit ton of Benadryl and then I will like my face won't blow up, but I'll just break out into hives, which is kind of worth it, but that's not really sustainable.
This is like your
No.
worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Benadryl like puts you
it
to
is.
sleep too.
Yeah. Also, don't take that much Benadryl all the time.
I know. It's
Just to have like your
citrazine
steak and
also.
eggs.
I know. I'm just eating steak and eggs with Benadryl on top.
Side of Benadryl.
Yeah.
Snorts Benadryl. That's so.
Give me that steak.
So, are you gonna become like a Hadid sister and become a Lyme's disease survivor?
No, I just got, so we were talking about this before. I just got blood drawn this morning because I got, bit by a tick. Doctors just want to make sure I don't have Lyme's. Even though I'm not showing symptoms, it's just, you don't want to, if I do have it, they can hit it early and it doesn't develop something down the line. But even though I feel strong as an ox, but oxes can get Lyme's disease and get weaker and it just hits them later in life. But no, it sucks, but like there's so much worse shit. But I just wanted to talk about it so people who like might get bit by like just be more aware of ticks. They suck. Fucking ticks are the worst thing ever. They cause Lyme's disease, which is way worse than what I have. But it was funny seeing people with Lyme's disease be like, yo, dude, I'd much rather have Lyme's than what you have because I don't know what I would do if I couldn't eat red meat, exercise, and drink without breaking out into hives. But
Yeah, it's like grass is always greener.
yeah, but there's so much worse shit. But it was just funny. So I made a TikTok about it, and just because like I didn't really know what else to do. Like
Right.
So I was just like, fuck, I just got this thing. Like I'll just make it into content. That's the best part about being in the content creation space. Just like if you got a problem, just like make it into content, and it kind of like makes it better. I don't know. Is that like bad?
No.
No, I think that's like our whole jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like maybe people have solutions or like maybe people can relate to you and they're like, oh, I'm not crazy. This guy can't eat meat either.
Maybe you can form a safe space for people like with tick-borne illnesses.
Red Meat Anonymous.
Yeah, that's really like you. Whenever you see Billy at the Barstool office eating, there's like an 87% chance that he's eating steak and eggs. So that's a big blow, just to your diet.
Yeah.
I've known
been
you
just,
long
like-
enough to know your steak and eggs addiction is real.
No, but what's cool is there is like they say there's no cure, and like a bunch of I think it's sort of just gone mainstream because people are like finding out that this rare thing has been happening to way more people than they think. Like it was in the New York Times like last week. But with that, there is like an acupuncture thing, which I thought acupuncture was total bullshit, but I'm going to make I'm going to I'm going to go to this acupuncturist. I'm going to film it and be like, fucking put those needles in my ears and let me eat red meat again and let's see if this works. Because then if I get it on paper that it works, then I like people with the same thing as me can like eat red meat again. By the way, I like there's people with way worse medical problems than this, but like
it's
like,
just what you're
I'm
doing.
down
You're
with
just
that
sharing
right
your
now.
experience.
Yeah, you're just sharing your experience. No, I want to get acupuncture. I just want to try it. But my dad did acupuncture for a really long time for stomach problems, and it worked. And he would put magnets. They would tape magnets to his hands for something with like blood flow. But he would have little magnets taped on his hands, and he would do acupuncture all the time, and it really helps.
Wow.
And I think it like. Depending on what you do it for and how often you do it, I think it can really also release a lot of like tension in your body. I think it would be like I don't really know the science behind acupuncture, but I think it has a lot of benefits for a lot of different things. Like I don't think it's bullshit at all.
George Kittle has acupuncturist on staff, which is
Really?
like yeah.
My neighbors growing up one time got acupuncture for their dog, which is like the funniest thing ever.
I'm so glad Arian's on here. That's such a white people.
No, oh yes, it was like so funny, but it helped. Whatever, I forget why, but the dog they like recommended acupuncture and they got it, and it was so funny.
I do want to do it. That and cupping. I want to try cupping. Not that I have any crazy medical issues or I do anything super athletic at this point in my life. I just feel like maybe I'm living with something I don't even know. Like maybe cupping will make it maybe I'm at 90 and that I don't even know what my 100 is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy how, especially with soft tissue issues, that the science has changed on healing. Like it used to be like reduce blood flow to the area to make sure swelling goes down. But that now they're figuring out that actually hurts the healing process, and you want to increase blood flow, but just compress it for the swelling. So that's the whole like idea behind cupping, is just like getting all that blood to one place so that if it's, needs healing, the blood's there to, give it the nutrients it needs to heal, which is, it's like been a switch in the past like 5-10 years probably that they were like reduce blood flow to the area of an injury to get that blood flow there, but compress it. And so the swelling stops. Really interesting stuff.
It is. I do like learning about all that stuff. I do want to go see an acupuncturist just to see.
I don't want to do cupping though, because it's basically like a penis pump on your skin.
What?
A what?
They look exactly. It's kind of weird.
Wait, I didn't hear. What'd you say? A penis
we can
pump?
move on. Yeah. That's.
Right.
We can just move on from there. Yeah, never mind. It's
I
weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay.
But
Anyways.
moving on. Before we get into the lightning round, we have our awesome interview with Shawne Merriman. I really enjoyed talking to him. PFT enjoyed talking to him, talking about some really awesome stuff. So let's get into it.
All right, we welcome on a special guest. It's Shawne Merriman. Lights Out. You know him. Lights Out Xtreme Fighting is coming to Fubo Sports on October 26th. You can find it on Fubo Sports. Coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's free. Fubo is a free, live, free-to-consumer TV network, leading sports first TV streaming platform. Very excited to see that. That's August 26th. Shawne, thank you for joining Macrodosing. Big fan of your work as a terror-inducing linebacker on the field. Now you're branching out to other businesses. So thanks for joining us. Give us something to look forward to in this fight.
Yeah, man, it's going to be big because it's our first time in San Diego. Obviously my stomping grounds. Took me like a year and a half to get this deal done. But yeah, as you said, we'll be live on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. So if you don't have that, get it. It's going to be a big one. If you're going to be there in San Diego and you want to come to the fight, which you should, lightsoutxf.com is a website to get your tickets. But this is cool for me, man, because this is my, since leaving San Diego, to get a chance to go back and throw a big ass fight, man, it's been cool.
Have you thought about getting into the fighting game yourself?
I mean, yeah, I'm sparring later on today. I still spar 2-3 days a week. But I do that, man, to stay in shape, right? Now I do spar pro boxers. I spar pro MMA fighters. I'm not gonna pat myself in the back and say I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'll let them talk about my skill level. Some of these guys I've been in there with, but I've been around this for 17 years. You know, I've been in there with some of the best in the business. My first day in the gym, it was back in 2005, 2006 with Randy Couture. That was my first day doing MMA ever. And so, you know, I've been around some of the best. So it's cool to run and operate lights out extreme fighting and live sports, man, in general is just like a beast.
Yeah, Billy stepped in the ring against Jose Canseco, 1-0 lifetime. He knocked out Jose Canseco. Pretty impressive.
They ain't too. I mean, look.
Hey, wait. Have you ever fought professionally? Do you have a
No, I haven't, man. Like, and you know, like, fighting is one of these things you don't try out, right? You don't. I'm gonna go. It's not like going to play a pickup game at LA Fitness. Like, I'm gonna go shoot some hoops today. No, you either fight or you don't. And the athletes who kind of got into it and they wasn't prepared, they got their ass knocked out. And I'll tell anybody, I said, if you're not mentally and physically and ready to go forward and put this thing in the cage to the ring, man, don't do it. It ain't for you.
Well, check out Rough and Rowdy. It's a 3 1-minute rounds of.
I just saw. I watched the redneck fight.
Yeah.
What'd you think about Rough and Rowdy? It's crazy shit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's entertainment, man. Like, I get so upset when people like get mad at the Jake Pauls of the world and these YouTubers or social media stars. It's like, you got to separate the two, right? Do you want to see high level boxing or do you want to see entertainment? Like, Jake Paul's fight with Nate Diaz, if anybody's looking for that to be a high caliber boxing match, is out of their damn mind. They don't know combat sports. But was it entertaining and worth buying? Yes. I mean, I thought it was. Hell, man, Nate tried to go for the damn guillotine. Like, that's craziness, right? But it was entertaining, and we all got our money's worth.
Yeah, I think that if the fight had gone 25 rounds, Nate Diaz would win. He would beat anybody if there was a 25-round fight. Because
he's the crazy thing. He's going to keep coming forward. I've never seen anybody, even I know he got knocked down. I forgot which round that was, whatever. Jay caught him with a great shot, and I don't think we've ever seen Nate knocked down like that. But at the end of the day, man, when you got somebody that's just going to walk forward no matter what, you know how scary that shit is, man, to be honest, to fight somebody or even go against somebody that's just going, no matter what you do to them, they're going to keep walking forward. That pressure is ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much like a zombie coming at you. You can't kill him. He's unkillable. Shawne, can we go back and talk a little bit about your childhood growing up? You're a DC guy. I'm from the DC area as well. Grew up rooting for the Redskins, still now a Commanders fan. That's in my blood. It'll never go away. Very excited about this upcoming season, new ownership, all that stuff. But so you grew up in the DC area, right? And I remember when you were in high school, and the story later took on kind of a life of its own. So maybe you can tell us what's real and what's fiction. I remember when you were playing in high school, the parents in the area got together and they said, that guy can't play against our sons. That guy's too dangerous. We're not going to allow him to play football because he's too good. Am I getting that right? Or was that something that's kind of evolved, like the myth of Shawne Merriman, lights out?
No, that happened. After I knocked out it was my sophomore year at Frederick Douglass High School up in Marlboro, Maryland, I knocked out 4 kids in one game. And the next game that we had that was at home, we had some parents. We used to walk through the basketball courts, and there was a fence that we all walked through to get on the football field. And we had a couple parents that kind of stood in and tried to block me from getting on the field and said that the coaches were trying to keep me back. That was 2 or 3 years older than I actually was, not knowing that I was the youngest guy out there, and that they didn't want me on the field with their sons. They tried to block me from playing. So, yeah, those things happen, man.
It's like they thought it was a Danny Almonte situation, like in the Little League World Series where you had a fake birth certificate or something.
Yeah, and they were petitions, and they were going to the school, going to the coaches to make them send them my birth certificates because they thought that I was 2 or 3 years older at least than what the coaches were leading on to believe. And I was youngest on the team, so
it's so tricky because like you're playing as well as you can, you're injuring people, but at what point, like if you start to play at a slower speed, a slower pace, then you're more likely to get injured yourself. And if you're not going 100%, did you ever feel bad? Like when you knocked the 4th kid out of the game, where you're like, maybe I shouldn't be playing. Maybe I'm too good at football.
No, I was happy about it. Like it was a different time, right? Where like those things were applauded, right? Like it was just applauded. So when I grew up in PG County, and back in the 80s and 90s, man, that wasn't a place that you wanted to be, right? Like outside of DC area, like that was it was rough. I think we were like top 5 or top 10 murder capital in the country at that time. It was insane. And so I just grew up in a rough environment where playing like that was the only thing I knew. And so I never like diverted into going in. My intentions was to cause harm to somebody for those 4 quarters I was playing football. And that was just it.
Yeah. Billy, you got a question?
So did you knock them clean out? Like they were unconscious, all 4?
No, so a couple of the guys, like one of the fullbacks, I broke his collarbone. He laid up on me on a power play. I came in, I broke his collarbone. He left again. He did go out for a minute, but he got up and walked off the field and never returned. So it was like a combination of guys. One of the guys on special teams, I knocked this tooth out and fractured his jaw. He left the game. So yeah, it was like and a couple of guys did get knocked out, concussion wise and left. So it was a combination, man, of them leaving the game. I can't sit back here and say everybody was put to sleep and it was out, but it was a combination of guys leaving the game and not coming back in.
I mean, that's a way to earn an amazing nickname. Now, moving on to your NFL career, we've had a lot of debate on the show with Arian, his favorite quarterback to see play, but who's your favorite quarterback to sack when you were in the league? Who's the guy that you're just like, this guy's a doughboy, I'm going to hit him, he's my favorite guy to hit, and like compared to the others?
It was always Tom.
Yeah.
Because, the thing is with Tom, outside him being a great quarterback, man, like he was such a competitor. And so like when you hit him, Tom would look at you sometimes like he's not supposed to be hit, right? Like it was one of those things where like, dude, you serious? And so I remember when I was in my sophomore year in college at Maryland, I ended up convincing Ray Lewis's younger brother, Keon Lattimore. He came to play running back at the University of Maryland, so I got close to Ray. And I remember Ray telling me that if you wanted to be remembered, you had to play great against the great quarterbacks, right? That was the Peyton Mannings, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady's. Those guys, like if you want to be mentioned up there with the greats, you had to have great games against them. And so if you look back, man, in my career against Peyton, I probably have 5 or 6 sacks or 7 sacks. Tom Brady got him at least 3 or 4 times, if not more, a bunch of hits on him. So it's Ben Roethlisberger, I got them all. And so I had this mentality like, yo, if you want to be mentioned up there with the best, you got to go and get the best. And that's what I did.
Yeah, we've talked to Von Miller before, and he always says that his favorite quarterback to sack was actually your teammate Phillip Rivers, because he would make these hilarious noises when he gets sacked, and then he'd get up and start talking shit to you, but he would never cuss, right? You ever hear him cuss?
Not once. It was one day in practice where he had a bunch of turnovers. Because we would go at each other in practice so bad. It was worse than the games. And we were just kicking the offense ass so bad. And I thought Phillip was going to curse for the first time. I thought we had him. Mm-hmm. And he didn't. And I was like, man, if he didn't curse then this dude really don't curse. But, he would say everything. Did you see the clip with Yannick? When he threw the long touchdown and he was like 90-yard touchdown, not in his ear. And so when I see me knowing Phillip and playing with him, when he lowered his voice and changed his voice, like, I am going to be a year. When he said that, I knew right there that Phillip was trying to get under his skin, because that's what he would do. Phillip would do things, and he wasn't like that just on the field. It wasn't like, oh, okay, just doing practice. This dude was like this doing in the weight room, in the cafeteria lunch while you're eating, in the film room. It never stopped. He was always going to challenge and compete with you and talk trash. It never stopped throughout the day.
Do you remember some of the words that he used to use instead of cuss words? I think Danny Woodhead was telling us some of them. It's like gracious to Petrus would be something he would say a lot.
Dag nabbit.
Dag
nabbit was his go-to. When he said dag nabbit, I knew he was really pissed off, but that was the most you're going to get out of him.
Yeah, all-time competitor.
Now, follow-up, who do you think was the best quarterback you ever played against?
I know people won't say this or say something about it or complain, but Peyton.
You think better than Tom?
Oh yeah, if I'm a GM and I'm starting a team, I'm starting with Peyton. And yeah, I know that people are going to say, "Oh, Tom, the rings and how great he is. He is the greatest quarterback." But I'm talking about as far as individual talent. If you're starting a team, if you're a GM, I'm going with Peyton Manning because of his intangibles. Peyton was like unreal, like some damn machine that knew what you were doing, called his own plays, redirected out there, and be able to analyze one side of the field to the other side of the field in the blink of an eye and start telling you what you're going to be doing. Peyton would he's the ultimate, stronger arm, more mobile, better intangible. So if I'm a GM, I'm starting it with Peyton Manning.
Better than Rodgers in their primes?
Yeah, I think so. He wasn't as flashy or had the capabilities as Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, just worked magic, rolling out the pocket. Like Peyton could never do that. But when it came down to it, Peyton and the intangibles, man, were just on another level than all these guys.
What do you think about that, Big T?
Love that.
Yeah.
That's the right call.
That's a spicy take.
He's the GOAT.
I appreciate it. You were also a part of maybe the best commercial of all time. You know the one I'm talking about? I still think it's real every time I watch it. The one where it's you and Steven Jackson. It's like leave nothing on the field. I remember watching that and I was like, I think all this stuff actually happened in games. How exhausting was it to film that commercial? Were you actually like going all out, making real hits, or was that the magic of television where they're editing you into stuff?
No, so Michael Mann, the great Michael Mann, the director, he was next level, right? So he showed up like an hour or less right before we about to start shooting in his helicopter, dropped that shit right on the field. And I was just like in awe. I was like, hold on. We're sitting here, we're dressed up, we're ready to go. Michael Mann's still not here. We just hear a chopper just going come dropping down the field. He drops, and then we start shooting a commercial 45 minutes later. I'm like, what just happened? And so when he got here, when he landed, and I've already met him through LT's commercial. LT had a commercial, Daniel had a commercial, a Nike commercial that he shot. That's how we formed a relationship. And Michael looks at me and said, "Okay, we got a stunt devil. A stunt guy." That stunt guy was Tony Gonzalez's brother, Chris Gonzalez. And so I'm looking, he got my tats and everything else. And I'm looking at him and I'm saying, what do y'all, I asked Michael Mann, I said, what is he here for? Right? Like, I'm looking like, hold on, what is he, we guys got a stunt for? He said, so you can do some of this. I said, no, I'm here. I'm doing my own damn scenes. So everything was in there. I did, except for one shot. So there was a shot in there. You know what I'm talking about? When the Raiders guy, we hit him in the helicopter. Yeah. So we had these were all actors that were out there. I went and hit that guy 10 times. Right? He ended up getting like a concussion or something like that, and he couldn't land properly on the pads. And so they came to me and was like, "Shawne, one more of this, he gonna quit." Right? We got to bring somebody else in there to at least get this scene right. So that was the only scene that they swapped out after I did it 10 times with the guy. He couldn't take another hit. He was like, I'm it. That's it.
That poor guy, that poor actor. He showed up for work that day. And if you haven't watched the commercial, go watch it. It's on YouTube. It's amazing. He showed up to work and he was like, "So I'm not actually going to get hit by Shawne Merriman, right?" They're like, "No, don't worry about it. It's going to be a stunt double. You're going to be fine." Then he goes out there and gets lit up 10 times. And if you watch the helicopter, like, it's a violent collision. I was watching that. I was like, there's no way that they actually had Shawne Merriman out there making tackles. But holy shit, that's a bad day of work for that guy.
Oh, dude, I felt terrible, right? The first couple of times, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can do it 20 more times, but I'm realizing this guy is going through it. And he's not right. So like after the 6th or 7th time, I said they might have to bring somebody else in there. And I think he actually did end up getting a concussion at some point. And so Chris Gonzalez came in and did that one scene for us.
It's a great commercial. Big T, you got anything?
Yeah, so Billy mentioned briefly Arian Foster, who's on this show with us. He couldn't be here today, unfortunately. But I was just curious, did you play against Arian ever? And if so, what were the conversations in the defensive meetings like that week? Like how mid was he? Like we're not concerned about this guy.
I would Arian's I like Arian a lot, man. He's a different cat though. He he was very in tune with his body, and I followed his career and how he has approached his I think his intellect, man, it was just a lot different than any football player that I probably ever came across to. I can't remember if he was on that 2007 team or not when it came to us. We had these big wildfires in San Diego that happened in 2007. So we had to go and actually practice in Arizona at the Cardinals practice facility before the game. So if I did play against Arian, it was around that 2007, 2008. But we won that game. So I'm not, I don't know if he did a whole lot if he did play.
So you were not afraid of Arian Foster and his pass blocking ability. Is that what you're telling me?
What pass blocking ability?
Is there anybody that you were afraid of besides Maurice Jones-Drew?
No. Look, I wasn't afraid of him then, and I found out that little sucker pack a punch.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't afraid of anybody, but I think that in 2007, when Adrian Peterson broke that rushing record on us, I don't think I've seen anything like that. Mind you, I practice with LT every day, LaDainian, man. Like I watched him, for years. But that day, I seen somebody do something I've never had on the football field ever, especially against other pros. AP went nuts that day. In fact, man, it's crazy because I didn't know what the hell got into him. He rushed almost 300 yards, right? So I'm like, what in the hell is going on? This dude's like on another level. We go to Tim Tebow's charity golf thing, and that he has every year down in Jacksonville. And so I'm sitting on a bus. And my first time after, I think around 2011 or 12, maybe even 13, somewhere around there. First time I talked to AP about this. So he's sitting behind me. I turn around. I said, now, I need you to be honest, all right? Who said something about your mother before the game? I was like, because that's how we played. He played like someone said something or did something to his family. And I said, dude, what in the hell got into you? I said, what the hell got into you that day? What were you thinking? And his response was that LT was on the other side. He wanted to show up LaDainian. Like that was his whole thing. And so I called LT. I texted LT after that. I said, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Because this guy just went crazy on it for 297 or something like that.
Yeah, that was an insane game. Adrian Peterson's prime he was completely different. I like going back and watching his high school mixtapes too, because that dude in high school was just unfair. He was just a man amongst children out there. Going back to the MJD clip, it's a famous shot. I think it's talked about a lot because he was a smaller guy, right? So he got under your chin a little bit. Is that the hardest? Is that the most you've ever got? Yeah,
for sure. Because if you look back at that clip, and one thing that when people talk about that, and no doubt, Maurice got me, no question about it. If you look at that clip, they cut out the part where Greg Jones, the fullback, he was hauling ass downfield right at me, like right dead at me. And anybody that don't know anything about Greg Jones out of Florida State, I played at Maryland, so I played against him at Florida State. This dude looks unreal, like 255 pounds and like 6% body fat. I mean, just ridiculously big. So Greg Jones was running straight at me, so I'm gearing up to load up against Greg Jones. I'm thinking he's going to try to take my head off.
Yeah.
And right when I stopped to kind of take on a contact, he goes by me and veers off to the right. And right when he veers off to the right, Maurice Jones-Drew is right behind him, standing at 5'6", 245, 50 pounds, whatever he was. And when I tell you it felt like a dynamite went off like under my face mask, like I didn't see him. Mm-hmm. And, the crazy thing was I heard the crowd, ooh, they did that or whatever, but I got up. I tried to get up as fast as I could. I didn't want nobody to see that shit, right? I got up and I'm like, try to hurry and play it off like nobody's seen it. Crowds oohing and on. I didn't know how bad it was then. So we got on the plane and we got home. By the time that we landed back in San Diego, there were like 3 commercials made out of that hit for the NFL. And I was pissed, right? Like, yeah. I'm like, in football, that you play long enough, somebody's going to put you on your ass. Somebody will. It's a part of the game. You will get got. Somebody's going to get you. But at that point, I've never been hit before. I got home, landed. I would go home, put some ice on my knees, and I'm icing up or whatever, and I turn on the sports channel, and they got 3 commercials already made. I said, who in what editing house got to turn over a flight? Because the flight's 5 hours, right? And by the time we landed, they got full-on commercials already done. Yeah. I'm like, this is some bullshit. I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you also got a lot of people too over your career, so I think it was more of a shock to everybody. It's like this guy can also get got. When, like you're saying, if you play football long enough, it happens to you. From your perspective as a defensive player, I know you liked playing it. You always stepped your game up against the superstar quarterbacks, like you mentioned earlier. Was there another defensive player, like how you're saying AP stepped it up against LaDainian Tomlinson? Was there a defensive player that you saw and you're like, I need to go out there and show out today because this dude over there is watching me. I want to let him know I'm on the same level.
It was, always it was Ray Lewis. Like when we played the Ravens, because he was like my older brother. Like that was LeVar Arrington too. When he was playing over there with the then Redskins, he was like a older brother to me. So whenever I played those two, I wanted to outplay them. I wanted to outplay those guys every single time. And we had the Ravens, I think, in San Diego, 2007 or whatever it is, and I got a sack or two in that game. Got one on Jonathan Ogden, who I'm happy as hell about. And then Ray had ended the game by hitting Darren Sproles in the backfield, like TFL, game over, game done, and he got me. So I was like, damn, I hate being outplayed by other guys, and he was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, you were a great player, and you made some good money in the NFL. Do you ever though go back and think to yourself like, man, if I had played in the late 20 teens or early 2020s, the way that they're playing guys that can get after the quarterback right now, you ever think about how much money you would have gotten on those contracts?
All the time. Not as much now because I'm really far out the game. But when I retired, like around 2000, I retired in 2013. But by 2017, 18 is where the money started to really turn. Even for guys that was coming off the bench, making $5 to $7 million a year off the bench. Like these guys got 6-7 sacks a year, making $5 or $6 million. I'm like, hell, man, I probably have been, getting paid $20 to $30 million a year at that point.
Yeah, it would have been nice. Billy, you got something else?
Yeah, besides MJD, was there any other players that not you had any highlight collisions with, but were just the hardest hitting on the offensive side of the ball? Any fullbacks or one guys that you ran into and like, holy, he packed a bigger punch than I thought?
Lorenzo Neal, my teammate. We do like Lo Neal was something different, man. Like you talking about a pit bull, somebody walking around 5'10", 5'11", 255 and just yoked. And so we used to go at it so much in practice. We used to have to come up with this brother-in-law system, right? Well, because somebody wasn't going to make it to the game. We were just going to keep trying to take each other's heads off. And like, we came to a conclusion. We're like, dude, like we need to be healthy because drop the pride, drop the ego. We're teammates, we're family, and we need to stop. So we would get to the point where we would get about a foot away from each other and just pull up. The coaches didn't say anything. They didn't say, hey, you guys need to finish the play. Like everybody understood, like this needs to stop because somebody isn't making it to the game if we keep doing this.
An armistice.
He was a great player. Awesome fullback. We had him in the studio one time. This was like 3 years ago. And we had him and Mike Allstott together. So we did a special fullback day. And we had a bench press that's set up behind Billy right there. You might be able to see some of it. But we put 135 pounds on it. And then we put it on incline press. Guess how many reps Lorenzo Neal did before he kind of got bored and quit?
At 135?
Yeah, this was like 4 years ago.
I'm guessing 35 to 40.
I think it was 70. I think he did it 70 times. And then he was like, all right, well, I can just keep going on for it. Because he's got short forearms, but he's strong as hell. So he was just like just going rapid fire on those things. Just a fucking beast.
My rookie year when I came in, and I came to camp late, so I didn't show up the whole off season because of the contract situation. So I started working out with Lorenzo Neal. And Lo Neal, in like his 12th or 13th year, dude, I would try to keep up with him in a weight room because he was such an animal. Like he was like just a different breed.
Yeah, he's a monster. I think he's the greatest blocking fullback of all time. If you looked at the running backs that he blocked for, he had, I think, 10 consecutive seasons blocking for a 1,000-yard running back, and there were different running backs too. It wasn't just LT every time. He's got one of the best resumes. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but that's
no. I was just about to say that people not like he's the last of the dying breed. Lo Neal should 100% be in the Hall of Fame. Look who he's blocked for, as you just said. The longevity. a fullback playing that long in the NFL and that effective for that many running backs and that many teams. I had to deal with him every day in practice. But how he's not in the Hall of Fame, I would never understand that, because there'll never be another Lorenzo Neal. That position, they don't even make important anymore.
Yeah, they're changing it to like an H-back if they use a fullback at all. It's a product of the rule changes, though. So every single rule change that has been put into place in the last 15, 20 years favors the offense. They want higher scoring games. They want more passing. They want more points in general. And so they're always taken away from the defense. It would be nice if they gave like some benefit to the defense every now and again and made a rule change that impacted you guys, as opposed to just making it harder for you to do your jobs. Because I feel like it's never been harder to play defense in the NFL than it is right now.
Oh, I made a joke the other day on Twitter. I said I had a poll going on how many fines that I would get. What was the cornerback that had to hit the other day? They got a $43,000 fine in the preseason game. And I'm looking at that hit, and it couldn't be even more cleaner than it was. It was a perfect. If I'm going to talk to high school kids or Boys and Girls Club kids, and I'm saying, guys, this is the way that's the way to do it. It was a perfect, clean hit. Mm-hmm. If I played today, man, I would just take all my paychecks and I would just write them before the season and take it up the stairs to the GM or front office and say, here you go, because I know I'm good for 15 fines this year, no problem.
Yeah,
Quan Alexander.
Yes,
I think it was.
Yeah, and that was a clean hit, man. That was literally a beautiful hit. It couldn't have been any better. And to get that FedEx, that $43,000 fine, that following week, I would have just passed out of my locker.
How does that work when you get the fine from the NFL? Randy Moss famously said, "Straight cash, homie." That's how he's going to pay his fine. Would you write a check? Would you mail it? Did you have to go to a post office and put a stamp on it and then mail a check to Roger Goodell? What's that like?
I still to this day don't use FedEx, because that's what those fines came in. Like whenever I see a FedEx envelope, I just get like PTSD, dude. I can't even look at them. So they just take it out of your check, So when you get fined, they just take it out of your check. You can appeal it, reduce it. If they go back and look at Alexander's hit, if they don't dismiss it completely, they should reduce it, by 80%. Or it was such a clean hit, man. I couldn't imagine being in that position.
Yeah, I think Arian would just get fined for wearing his socks too high, right? That was his thing.
Yeah, he said socks a lot.
He would just accept the fact that he's going to pay their $20,000 socks per game that he was going to wear. But I guess
yeah. So what they'll do is they'll fine you $15,000-$20,000. If it's a sock infraction, you'll reduce it down and pay. You pay $5,000. You kind of negotiate with the NFL, but you're going to get fined. They're going to get their money. That's for sure.
It's very funny to me that there's a guy that goes back and watches NFL tape every single week, looking at where people's socks are on the field, going over the plays with a fine-tooth comb.
Every week. Every week, and you're going around the warm-ups, and they'll come and tap you a couple times and give you a warning, but sometimes they don't. They just watch you on the field or watch you on the sideline. They won't say anything. Next thing you know, that following week, you got a FedEx. Mm-hmm. Ain't really too much you can do about it.
I think I remember seeing something with Mike Dupp, and it was Merton Hanks, maybe, the old 49ers player who's now pretty high up in the NFL. And he was on the sideline just patrolling, looking at people's legs, going up to people, hey, you need to get those socks down, buddy. Have the pants cover those knees. It's just crazy that the NFL is so structured that somebody's job is to go over those and do that. Big T, you got another question?
Yeah, you may have, I guess, kind of already answered this. You said you were training with Randy Couture 15 years ago, however long. But I was going to ask, were you always interested in MMA, or is that kind of a natural progression once you're done with football and you're like, I need somebody to hit?
No, I actually just started it to work on my hand-eye coordination, being an active, using my hands as outside linebacker. That was everything. And I just saw, dude, I had Randy Couture about 50 pounds, and I got in there, and then Randy was ragdolling the shit out of me. He was and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I'm bigger than him, I'm stronger than him, and somehow, some way we were pummeling, and he would just throw me around, and I could not figure it out. And I walked out of that day feeling defeated, dude. I'm like, dude, this can't be real. And so I started to train with these guys more and more and more. When Tyron Woodley and all these guys were just coming on the scene in the mid-2000s, I was in the gym with all of them and training. And so I try to tell anybody, right now, the reason why I'm in MMA is because I'm trying to transition some of these guys into combat sports. There's football players right now they're not going to play 10 years. They're not going to have the long career. They're not going to make all the money they want. They might get cut, traded, waived. It might be done. And these guys are still ready to go. And that's why, I'm working on transitioning a lot of these guys into Lights Out Extreme Fighting.
All right, well, we'll check it out. It's August 26th. I got one last question for you about fighting. Maybe just like a tip if you're putting on fights. I know you've had some words back and forth with him in the past, but anytime you can get Greg Hardy to fight on TV and just get his ass kicked, America will watch that. There's nothing that we love more than watching Greg Hardy get his ass beat by somebody who's much better than him.
I feel bad for dude, man, because as a former football player, right? You want these guys to excel. And I know that people hate Greg Hardy and some parts of it, they got good reason to. He's been a asshole, a jerk sometime back in the day, but I wanted to see him succeed, and I actually thought that he had a short stint in the UFC where he actually looked pretty good. He was going against championship caliber guys, and then he started getting knocked out. And he's been knocked out of his last 4 fights. And I think he got one more boxing fight coming up. If he get knocked out again, man, he got to hang it up. You can't go from where you were to getting knocked out. In this sport, man, it ain't for everybody. Like you gotta be in it because that's just going to keep happening. You're going to keep getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm. He had a good fight against Rockman Jr. though, right?
Yeah, but he had about 60 pounds, right? Come on. You're fighting a guy, you're bigger than him. You should win. Rockman is really good. He's a really good fighter. He almost had that fight with Jake Paul, and that didn't happen.
He got done dirty in that. I was reading about some of the rehydration clause that they're trying to put on him. In the fight game, these Jake Paul fights, I kind of want to see some of the contracts. I want to kind of see what exactly is going on in there because I'm not too sure about it. It's entertainment.
Yeah, it's entertainment, but you gotta when you're fighting on a Jake, because it's a Jake Paul card, right? It's his promotion. You're gonna have to play by his rules, and if you're not gonna play by his rules, then that's just what it's gonna be, and people can dislike that or not. But if he got a clause in there to say a weight or rehydration or whatever that may be, you got to do it. And he didn't. He failed to do that. But yeah, Greg Hardy, he got about 60 pounds, man. I wasn't really too surprised about that fight.
Well, Jose Canseco had Billy by like 80 pounds, and Billy beat his ass. Billy knocked him out in the first round. Good job, Billy.
60 pounds.
60-pound difference, yeah.
60, 80, you whooped his ass, man. You probably did a lot of people out here a favor. So,
yep. All right. Well, Shawne, thank you for joining us, man. Again, you can check it out on Fubo. It's August 26th. Starts at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Shawne Merriman's Lights Out Extreme Fighting. It returns live to Fubo Sports.
And San Diego. First time in San Diego. So you guys get your tickets at lightsoutxf.com. We'll be at Casino Palma.
There we go. You should get Boltman out there. Did you know Boltman? Do you know who he is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was great when he went to the town hall meeting dressed up as Boltman to try to get the Chargers to stay in town.
Yeah, that didn't work.
No, it didn't. And then I think he tried to sell the Boltman costume for $50,000. That also didn't work. The price didn't get that high for it. All right, Shawne, thank you for joining us, man. Appreciate it.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me.
That was our interview with Shawne Merriman. Hope you guys enjoy it. And now for the lightning round. So did we get any questions?
We got some questions. You wanna answer some questions, Bill?
Mm-hmm. We could hit some questions.
Yeah, thank you for everyone for sending them in. We got I think close to 100 or something.
Wow.
We got people want
the lightning round.
Billy's reputation.
Lightning
dead.
or thunder.
There's one more thing I want to talk about. Putin killed the Wagner boss.
Oh.
So remember when Russia was in the middle of a civil war and there was that one guy marching towards Moscow? Yeah. He got killed. He got shot down in a plane. So Putin smoking on that Wagner pack.
Oh,
pretty nuts.
Jesus.
So the one hope to take Putin out of power has been snuffed.
Damn.
I don't really.
But
that sucks.
Just reporting on the news.
Oh, thank you. Okay, you want to do some questions?
Sure.
Okay. This is the lightning round with Billy Football. And he has read none of these. He does not have access to our email.
Nope.
Some of these I don't have a huge opinion on, but I figure you will. So if these aren't,
okay.
if
I'd also like to hear your guys' opinion too. You guys have to answer the questions too.
Some of these I don't have an answer to. Some of these I
Okay,
don't.
well the ones you do, please chime in.
We'll play it by ear.
Okay. So like this first one I have no opinion on. Okay. Here's a topic for Billy. Explain why the 1998 Minnesota Vikings team that made it to the NFC Championship game, where they suffered a heartbreaking upset to the Atlanta Falcons, should have made it to Super Bowl 33 and ultimately beat the Denver Broncos. Vikings fans consider this to be the most devastating loss in the history of the organization, and is probably the reason why Vikings fans feel our kickers are cursed.
The only thing I know about this game is that they missed the kick and didn't make it.
What year was it?
1998.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah, so
For this game.
you probably would not know.
Yeah.
But why should they have made it to the Super Bowl?
I mean,
Should have made the kick.
They should have made the kick.
they want. Okay. So, am I allowed to like look up refreshers?
Sure.
Who says no? Yeah.
Is this like trivia or like?
Right.
Or are we
That is
actually
a
gonna
weird. That's a weird question.
Do you want?
like?
I mean,
Yeah,
he
so
seemed passionate about it.
the
You've been to
I mean,
Vikings games.
I remember the only thing I remember about this team is that they went like 15-1 and they lost in the playoffs, and they like were supposed to be like the best team ever. But I mean, I guess Falcons won the coin toss. That's why the Falcons won the coin toss.
There you go.
Next question.
Okay. Oh, this guy sent 10 questions and he sent me okay. Do you do top sheet on a bed?
Yes, I do.
Why'd you have to hesitate on that one?
I was trying to figure out which one was the top sheet and which one was the bottom sheet.
Top sheet's the one that's not on the mattress.
The loose fitting.
The loose
Well, it
fitting
depends on the season.
Okay.
Well, sometimes I just go bottom sheet when it's like really hot.
Like with the comforter though.
No,
What's-
because it's summer.
Right.
That makes the okay. This isn't going to be popular because this is bachelor male bed makeup. I have a bed stand though.
You have a bed stain?
Bed stand.
Oh,
Or,
like
we
a
put the
nightstand?
bed-
Like a nightstand?
No,
Oh, you
like
mean a bed frame.
bed frame. Yeah. I have
Got
a
it.
frame. So yeah.
Do you have a backboard?
No, but we don't have to worry about that. All right, next question.
Okay. Who in the office would beat you at an arm wrestling challenge?
In the New York City office,
Let's just do the whole company.
no,
Yeah.
no one.
No one would beat you.
Arian, for any former NFL players, maybe.
Bussing guys?
Bussing. I think I could get Compton.
Remember last time you said that?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but I'm still gonna come at his ass. I don't care.
Anyone in Chicago?
No.
Do
Well,
you
the
think
thing
you're
is,
the
I know the
strongest
trick.
person in this office? What about KB? I feel like KB's really strong.
Oh yeah.
No, but like the mass isn't there.
Okay. Rudy?
Rudy might give me a run for my money.
Okay. Is there a lie that you have told on Macrodosing or Part of My Take that you haven't gotten caught in?
People got to remember that a lot of this is just like to defend personal stuff. Like, can't reveal everything on a podcast.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
But like a lie that doesn't reveal personal information.
Or like an embellished story.
I can think of one that
Yeah.
you have told me is a lie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but most like the thing is like everyone's like, oh, he's a pathological.
Do you wanna-
liar. Like most
do you
like
wanna
it's
reveal-
Theo Vaughn type shit. It's Theo Vaughn type shit where you're like trying to be a good podcaster. Like if you think every stand-up comedian's jokes are true, or anybody like you're trying to entertain people, and you know like embellishment, truth. These are all wordsmithing
Yeah.
that
Is there anything you
makes-
want to do you want to reveal anything that you may have embellished?
the poison ivy story.
Yeah.
Yeah, the poison ivy story. Like
Not a
that
lie,
was-
just
An embellishment.
it was an embellishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is sad because that story's made me
It's
laugh
so
so
funny. It's funny either way.
Exactly, but the original story isn't as funny as the story I made it out to be.
hard.
No,
it's
you're
true.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this guy wants to just hear your thoughts on these following topics.
Okay, cool.
Industrial herbicide.
Industrial herbicide, yeah. I mean, that's the stuff that's turning the frogs, messing with their genders. Like,
Is that what it is?
like Roundup. So it's herbicide. He's talking about like weed killer. So it's supposed to have a serious impact on the endocrinological systems of amphibians, but also maybe mammals. So we don't know what's in the water. We don't know what's been leaking into the water, into our water supply that might be messing with humans.
Okay.
Just like we gotta check it out.
Check it out. The Dewey Decimal System.
Ooh, Dewey Decimal System. Worked in a library once. As a student, worked in the library and learned how to do it. And it was useful. Kind of. I forget how to use it now, but we have the internet, so it's kind of extinct. The Dewey Decimal System is a dinosaur.
Long-term implications of stripping Pluto of its planet status.
I think it's going to really have an impact on galactic mining in the future. Like, let's say 1,000 years, we're mining other planets for resources. Pluto not being a planet is going to have a lot of the same effect of some of the Caspian Sea, the countries bordering the Caspian Sea. None of them agree on whether the Caspian Sea is a lake, a sea, or an ocean. I think it's the Caspian Sea. And because of that, under international law, they signed a deal. The Caspian Sea, 5 countries signed deal to end dispute. Yeah, so Russia, Iran, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan, all bordering the Caspian Sea, have... Okay, wait, no, maybe it's not the Caspian Sea. I think it's like the Black Sea, or there is a body of water where all the countries don't actually agree on its designation. And because of that, they all can fuck around in there and get away with what they want to get away with and not have to adhere to an international law. That's going to happen with Pluto in some regards. If we don't designate Pluto as a planet, it might be like, oh, because Pluto isn't a planet, it can be mined by private corporations, or not like national NASA type subsidies. Like, we don't know what we're going to be doing there, but like international waters, right? Because it's not designated to one country. Like, there's a lot of rules you can get away with.
But couldn't you say that about all of the, like, none of the planets are designated to anyone?
Right, but let's say there's like a law put in place when we're colonizing different planets. Like, all planets within these rings are this designation. Or let's say aliens come and they're like, because Pluto wasn't designated a planet and your treaty said all the planets in the solar system are humans, but they're like, but Pluto you said wasn't a planet. They put a station there, a base, and then they're like right in shooting distance of us.
Got it. Speaking of that, I just learned about Gibraltar this morning.
Yeah.
I didn't.
England
What is
and
that?
Spain.
It's England and Spain. It's like the tip of Spain, and it's the closest point of Europe to Africa, and you have to boat past it to get to east to west. But England's when Spain became like independent, England kept it for like boating, for like what? For like port access.
I think it had a huge implication in World War II because they needed to monitor U-boats coming in and out of the Mediterranean.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I remember there's this crazy story about these. They had a plan to lock 7 dudes underground with a radio, British dudes with a radio and like a small seeing out viewing area so that they could report back to England if Gibraltar got taken over, all the movements of Axis ships in and out of the Mediterranean. Huge strategic spot. Let me look up the exact history of when it got taken.
But they said like there's.
Oh,
it's
it was
like
during
on a huge
Napoleonic Wars.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they seized. Yeah, the Anglo-Dutch fleet took it over in 1704. Sweet. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, I figured that was up your alley. And then last thing
Yeah.
from this guy. Is it easier to learn how to pilot a helicopter or become fluent in Latin and be able to read a Latin book in cursive?
Fly a helicopter, 100%.
Okay.
Becoming fluent in Latin, it's a dead language, but like Latin's kind of easy, but if you were to become fluent in Latin, it's like, actually, no, flying a helicopter, because like any Joe Schmo can pick up flying a helicopter on a simulator like PFT. Like he knows how to fly a helicopter, kind of technically, because
an
he's been doing
F-16.
simulations, or an F-15. Right.
Okay.
Like I think it would take less time. Like you could probably learn it in 2 months, whereas Latin takes like several years to become fluent. But any
Right.
language does.
Okay. Good answer. Okay. Next one.
Like a basic helicopter, not like an
Okay.
Apache.
Okay. Duh. Right. Okay. Next topic. Should OJ do commercials in 2023 and for what products?
He should just do commercials for law offices. Just be like, look, I looked into these guys. These guys will get you off. And if he like did some, like testosterone boosting ad, that'd be hilarious. He should just start doing Viagra. That'd be hilarious. Or he should advertise for Cutco.
What's Cutco?
It's a knife company.
Isn't that isn't
Yeah,
that the knife
you know,
company
like,
that like guys get in
all
like as an MLM?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme.
Or like
And they try to
gloves.
sell everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or gloves. Yeah. Oh my god, that good, Billy. What are some athletes that resemble their mascot or logo?
Athletes that resemble their mascot. There was a defensive end on the Vikings that wore 69 Allen. 69 Allen Vikings. What was his first name? Jared Allen. Jared Allen, in my brain, watching Jared Allen play, I was like, that's a Viking. Kyle Long, Bear.
Kyle Long, you
Yeah.
bear.
Looks like a bear.
We need to get Kyle Long on the show now that we're in Chicago.
Yeah, we had Chris.
We had Chris on. We need to get Kyle on.
I'm trying to think. You know who was like a giant in my head growing up? He played for the Giants. He has Michael Strahan was a giant.
Yeah.
Good
in my
one.
mind.
That is a good one.
Good one.
Yeah, Michael Strahan looked like huge, and I once saw him in person. I was like, "That's a giant."
Yeah.
Who else we got?
Does anyone look like Blooper?
There's definitely some Cowboys that look like Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman. Troy
Say
Aikman.
Clay Aikman. Okay.
Troy Aikman kind of looks like he could have been a cowboy in a Western.
Okay, I kind of see that.
Cole Beasley, when he was on the Cowboys, looked like a ranch hand.
Okay.
Did anyone look like any birds? Don't think so.
I'm trying to think if like
some
anyone on
other
the
names.
Browns looks like a dog. Like a
Oh yeah.
bulldog.
Like Buffalo.
Yeah.
Well,
look like a
what's crazy is the Buffalo.
Maybe like Von Miller.
Actually, Cole Beasley. Well, no, it's
Yeah,
the
he's-
Buffalo Bills. It's about Buffalo Bill. It's not actually a bill.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Isn't yeah. So Cole Beasley looked like Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill. Actually, Cole Beasley looks exactly like Buffalo Bill from the old timey westerns, not the serial killer from Hannibal Lecter, but
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He does actually.
Anyone else who want me to move on?
yeah. Let's move on.
This one's called Man Rocket. One guy you're comfortable admitting it is too nice with it. What is it about them?
Too nice with it.
Yeah, like what Man Rocket is like, I get it.
Oh, like he's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why? I mean, you saw Barbie last night.
Hot dudes. There's like so many hot dudes. They're all just hot. Like most famous dudes who are hot are hot. Like that's why they got the job.
Do you have one? Like, do you have one like man crush where you're like, I get it. Like, if I had to.
What? Who's Henry Cavill?
Good one, Billy.
Well, just because like, oh, that's Superman.
That's Superman.
yeah.
Like
That's Superman.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
like you were born to play Superman. Jason Momoa. Like, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like just like there's just some dudes who just like, oh, you're a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. How do you think the pyramids were built?
That's a good question. I don't think so. There was those Cleopatra's needle, right? They found those there's like one not the Pentagon. What the hell is this? The needle, the National Monument? Right, that's the National Monument. When I was little, I used to think the National Monument was the Pentagon. The Washington Monument, I mean. I used to think that was the Pentagon for some reason because I got my shapes mixed up. I was like 5. But the Washington Monument, they found one of the original ones in Egypt that hadn't been fully excavated. So how they made those is they would chisel them out of the ground. And what was so interesting about this one is that it was almost finished, but it cracked down the middle. And they could definitely see that they just basically had thousands of dudes chiseling this thing out at the same time. So I think what we don't, did aliens build the pyramids? Do we really know how these things worked? I think there are aspects of it that we don't know how they did, and they may have used methods that we just don't understand. Be it some crazy Tesla-like technology that was lost that we don't know. But at the end of the day, they had so many people who had nothing to do besides build shit, and like the agricultural revolution caused a population boom unlike anything we've ever seen. So there was just, and look, they had no birth control, so they just had a lot of manpower. And when you had all these people who needed jobs, you just had thousands of people chiseling away at the stone every day trying to make these awesome structures. Like, I don't think we understand that they did nothing else besides build shit.
So you're saying it was a
all
numbers
day.
game and they were bored?
Yeah, it was a numbers game and they were bored.
Okay.
But like, don't know if there's some crazy shit. Like, how did they get huge blocks down the river when they couldn't even build boats that big? Don't know. But they had manpower.
Got it. All right. Next one. Who was the most dominant military leader in history, and who's the most underrated?
Most dominant military. This is a good one. Genghis Khan, of course, has the numbers, has the stats, went so far, did so much, but he was kind of conquering a lot of like tribes, and no, he hit a lot of cities. Alexander the Great.
Was his schedule easy?
His schedule was kind of easy.
Got it.
Who did they play?
Who were their division rivals, Genghis Khan?
I mean, a lot of Chinese empires. They didn't hit, like, the thing is, they didn't hit many serious empires to the east. I mean, to the west. I meant Eastern Europe. Like, Eastern Europe didn't have that many big players. Overrated, I'd say the Soviet expansion, the Russian Empire, when they expanded west into Siberia, like, Russia's pretty overrated from that time period.
Got it.
But I'm trying to think who else played nobody. Napoleon played. I'd say Napoleon's overrated.
Really?
Because he made some pretty, like, he fought two-front war, got beat, took over a lot of peasants. Yeah, he didn't play much of anybody.
Got it. How much protein should I be eating to get ripped?
I think a gram per pound of body weight you have
A day.
a day.
It's a lot.
It's not that. I mean, like, how much? How much protein is in a chicken breast? 43 grams. Okay, so I used to eat. Well, when you want to get bigger, you got to eat more. So the best bulking meal is about a liter of chocolate milk and a whole rotisserie chicken. If you eat one of those a day, and you can mix it up, maybe a couple a week, you will get bigger. That's just a no-brainer. And if you lift, that's why I used to eat like every training day during summer before football season. It was so fun. Now I can't. If I ate like that now, like I haven't. I wish I could eat like I was bulking still, but people lose the purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Name 3 women that inspire you.
3 women that inspire me. Barbie.
Real women.
Okay. Let me think. Jane Goodall.
Okay.
I got some more.
Okay. No.
Condoleezza Rice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Also, we're just gonna assume your mom is on this list, so add a third person that's not your mom.
yeah.
Right.
No, we're talking about like celebrities, right?
You can
That's
talk
why I
about
assumed.
anyone. Yeah.
Who inspire me? Inspire me to do what?
It's up to you. What does Jane Goodall inspire you to do?
Go out into nature.
Yeah. Condoleezza, what's she up to with you?
I don't know. I just like that she almost got picked as a head coach for
For the
the.
Browns.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also she like caused the Iraq War. I don't know. I just like see her as like, what the hell was she like? What was going on there? She inspires me to cause chaos.
Okay. Third.
And we're gonna find that in my brain soon.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there.
Any woman that's inspirational.
No, I want to choose a good one. Like I could just say like a random one.
Yeah. I would prefer you say a real one.
Nancy Pelosi to make a lot of money.
Okay. Well, okay. Got it. Okay. Moving on from that one. How do you feel about all of the eels coming from the Sargasso Sea and the Bermuda Triangle?
Oh, so we don't know where eels mate.
And don't we not know how they reproduce? Or something?
Like we kind of know, but from what I'm thinking is that they reproduce there. Yeah, so like the eels go from like a bunch of eels from Europe go down rivers, like from freshwater rivers, they go into the ocean and they all go straight to this place in the Sargasso Sea in the North Atlantic, which is around the Bermuda Triangle. This is one of like the most interesting things ever. And like they even come from Maine. It's almost like there's like there's gigantic eels living in the center of the earth that like all eels are just babies and they like turn into leviathans in the center of the earth and they all just go back there to breed. I mean, I don't know if they're all
they also go back there to die.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're not even dying. They're just turning into gigantic eels and like going to the center of the earth.
Are you putting out the take that eels may be immortal?
No, that like eels might be baby leviathans, which are gigantic eels that people used to write about in ancient times.
Got it.
But like we don't know what the fuck they're doing down there. We don't know what's living down there. We don't know if there's like some deep sea caverns that we just don't know. Like what the fuck's going on in the center of the earth? The eels know more than we do.
I bet you the eels do know a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Is Bill Gates buying up U.S. farmland, seed vault ownership, and investing in lab-grown meat to profit from owning the U.S. food supply chain?
First off, I think what's really happening is he is trying to make sure that his wealth increases and that like he doesn't lose his money. And he's trying to build wealth with like revolutionary technologies, be it if he's trying to get stuff off the ground. But, there could be an argument that he is trying to, basically the future of, because his ideology compared to Elon Musk is that we need to reduce consumption, reduce this. Whereas Musk is like, let's go to Mars, let's build shit, let's make more, so we can provide for more. So if he's trying to control the U.S. food supply, I mean, it's only out of a capitalist interest, and hopefully not because he just wants to stop feeding people. But we don't know that. We really don't know. Like, the rational explanation is that he's just trying to make money. He's just trying to fund revolutionary technologies. And the pessimistic view is that he is trying for world domination and to make sure that the human population gets reduced to prevent the world from collapsing.
Got it. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to coach in the NFL after his career?
The thing is, a lot of those guys, NFL coaching jobs are stressful. It's not a retirement gig. A lot of guys who didn't accomplish a lot in the NFL and still sort of had that itch, maybe didn't get paid that much, but have a knack for coaching, they'll become great coaches. But he might just coach high school. Coaching high school football is the most fun out of all coaching positions. Or
do you think he'll go into media?
I don't know. The guy kind of seems like a leave me the fuck alone type,
Yeah, he does his darkness.
I can kind of just see him becoming like a stoner.
He's been out and about though recently.
Yeah.
In New York, he was at the Taylor Swift concert. He was out to dinner with the Jonas Brothers, I saw.
Yeah, so it seems like he actually really likes New York.
Jonas Brothers?
Yeah.
Also though,
which I thought was so random.
I feel like if you go from such a small market like Green Bay to the biggest market, it's just such a culture change.
Yeah.
Where is he going to go in Green Bay to do those same things? I feel like he's almost just living out those experiences he didn't get to have when he was young.
Yeah, for sure.
Because of the market he was in. No offense to Green Bay, Wisconsin. It sounds awesome. I love Wisconsin. Okay, next question. I don't know if this is okay. I don't know how this. Who sacrificed more to defeat the Nazis in World War II? The Soviets or the Western Allies?
This is honestly the Soviets. I think 20. Am I crazy, or was it 20 million people died? If you look at the casualties of the Soviets versus all of the West, they literally threw 27 million casualties were the World War II losses of the Soviet Union. We don't understand. I think if you combined all the other casualties in World War II, none of them would combine to make up how many casualties the Soviet Union destroyed. But also, it was American steel, British intelligence, and Soviet blood. I think we all can agree that U.S. steel was something that we were willing to give up, and British intelligence also willing to give up, but cannon fodder and sons is not something that I think anyone would be willing to give up, to have your son die. That's terrible. But the U.S. beat the Japanese.
Given Zach Wilson's recent mentorship from Aaron Rodgers, what is his ceiling this season? Last year it was Patrick Mahomes. Could we see some Tom Brady or Joe Montana this year?
I think his ceiling is still Patrick Mahomes. I think it's great that he's getting some time to sit, so that he got thrown into the fire and he got cooked. He hopefully gets that all past him. He gets some good stuff on tape, and he gets Sam Darnold just beat out Trey Lance for the 49ers QB2 job, I think. There's guys who got beat up who can bounce back.
This is a dumb question. Who's QB1 for San Francisco?
I was just looking that up. It's still Brock Purdy, I think.
Who's the handsome guy?
Jimmy G?
Is he still on the...
No, he's on the
Brock
Raiders now.
Purdy is still the starter.
Isn't Jimmy G on the Raiders now?
Yeah, he's on the Raiders.
Yeah. Because Derek Carr...
Brock Purdy's still
because Derek Carr's on the
QB1.
Saints now.
Yeah. Well, I think they because Brock Purdy was QB1 last season. It's like he's QB1 now. It's his job to lose kind of in the regular season.
Got it. Okay, I like this question. Biohacking. Ask Billy to prescribe supplements to each member of the show based on what he perceives to be their biggest weakness.
Huh. I would kind of tell everyone to take the same thing.
No, you got to go one by one.
Okay, Big T.
This is going to just get offensive. Like, you're going to be offensive.
This is going to get offensive. Big T's grumpy. He needs some like 5-HTP. Just like to get a little more lively. Getting some better moods. Get a little talkative. Maybe like everyone should be taking L-theanine and lion's mane mushrooms. That is what everyone should be taking. Probably prescribe. This is gonna get offensive to everybody.
Yeah.
I think PFT needs some biotin because his hair kind of sucks. This is just getting wildly offensive. Arian probably needs like a lot of lion's mane to stay focused.
Anything else?
Maybe some berberine for Big T.
What's that?
Just something.
Berberine.
Next question.
Well, no, and you didn't do me and Mackenzie.
Well, what do you guys struggle with? Like mood wise, like
Why'd you go straight to mood?
I feel like energy for me. Like I'm always tired. And I
so if
can't-
you're tired,
I can't
B12.
Yeah.
B12.
B12.
I
Okay.
take
vitamins.
B12.
Yeah, you need
B12
tons
and
of B
D3.
vitamins.
I also
Yeah, take-
can't. I don't fall asleep very easily. Like it takes me like
Oh,
so
you need
long to actually
magnesium.
fall asleep.
You need magnesium and L-theanine.
Okay, that's good.
But tons of stuff. Like
Do you have anything for me, Billy?
yeah, B12. I mean, if you're struggling with energy,
Yeah, I already take B12.
I think everyone should be taking glutamine or glutamine because we all have leaky gut. Probiotics. Everyone needs probiotics. There's some
Love
serious.
probiotics.
Yeah, Lactobacillus reuteri is my favorite, just because it's like been shown to raise testosterone tons. But what else? Yeah, I think that hits everybody.
Okay, this one I've never heard of, but this seems like something you'd be interested in. I'd like to hear Young William Football lightning riff on utilitarianism versus deontology. My gut says Billy adheres to Kant's views that the intent of an action supersedes the consequences of the action. Case in point, his COVID hesitancy. Under deontology, I don't know how you say it. People have a duty to act in the right manner, even if it risks harming themselves. I imagine in Billy's paradigm, the duty to respect self-autonomy would have trumped the risk of further spread via no masks. See also guns. The duty of self-protection would trump the risk of mass shootings that may result from the consequences of no gun control.
Yeah.
Contrast this viewpoint with utilitarianism, which I imagine is more up PFT's alley. One subscribing to the J.S. Mill School would likely support building a time machine, going back to 1889 Austria, and slaughtering as many babies as he could get his grubby hands on in order to kill Hitler once and for all, assuming commenter is anti-Hitler. He is. Embrace debate, Billy. Utilitarianism or deontology? Do you know what I've never heard?
Utilitarianism.
Okay. I know utilitarianism. I don't know deontology.
It's like deontology is like the commercial where the kid in the high school basketball game touches the ball, knocks it out of bounds, and they award it to the other team, and he says, "I touched it, coach." Like, you know that.
No, but
that commercial.
No, but how, okay. So what? So which one are you a utilitarianist or a deontologist?
I'm a utilitarianist because deontology, like, I'd have to read up more about dentology just because deontology or dentology.
DEON.
Yeah, I mean, I think with anything you need to have elements of both, whatever you think is good or not. You know, like total libertarianism isn't effective because of the bears in the village problem. Like there's stuff that everyone having free will in a society, it doesn't make sense to be totally libertarian. Like, you should just pick and choose beliefs from each system, and a combination of them will be checks and balances required. I would have to read up more about deontological theory.
Got it.
But at this point, I'm leaning utilitarian.
Got it. Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is a big like thing in nursing school. Yeah.
Like, would you hurt yourself to save other people?
Yeah, utilitarianism's the ends justify the means. It's like cost benefit analysis. I'm more familiar with utilitarianism.
Okay. Next. This guy has a couple questions for you.
Sweet.
How many starting college quarterbacks does Billy think he could outperform right now? 3 months from now, and a year of berserker training from now. Also,
a year.
Just to light a fire under your ass, he said he's not better than any, but I need to hear Billy make fun of all the Ivy School quarterbacks' arm strength.
I think I definitely could start at an FCS school after
D1?
a year of training. Yeah, FCS.
I know, but that's still D1.
Yeah, I had D1 offers. But
you didn't play D1.
No, but I had D1 offers. Like, I could have played D1. I just decided to go to the best academic school I could.
So right now, in this exact moment, in the Billy's office, pardon my take studio, how many quarterbacks do you think you're better than?
Like, in the whole country?
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks in the whole country? I'd probably be like, let's just say just 20.
All D1 through D3.
Oh, D1 through D3. That's
Yeah. He never specified what division.
I'd say 50% of them.
You're better right now, right in this exact moment.
Actually, no. Okay. In a year, 50%. I think I could win the starting job at, including D3. Are there more D1? Because there's a lot of bad schools with like who don't even have quarterbacks.
Do you think you could go win the starting job at UMass Amherst?
In a year, maybe. I think it would be a 50-50 toss-up.
Okay, speaking of Barbie, what are your top 5 movies?
I really love Goodfellas. I don't actually like The Godfather. I'm not like a poser. Like Blood Diamond. I love Blood Diamond. Troy. I love Troy. 300 was good, but it was a little hard. I saw a lot of good movies recently. Which ones? I'm not that big of a movie guy. King Kong vs. Godzilla. Cocaine Bear. And one more. Apocalypse Now.
Okay. Please ask Billy how he would stop 9/11 if he was on the plane, but only found out what was about to happen right after takeoff. And then asterisks, you guys can decide what he has on himself walking in onto the plane. What did he buy at the airport? I think you have like nothing that you... Well, I guess there wasn't like TSA protocols much before.
Well, if I found out right after we took off.
Yeah.
This is like such a bad question.
Why?
Well, like,
You're
let's
Mark
say I have a
Wahlberg.
phone. I mean, the thing is, of course, right? You're like, oh, there's hijackers. Well, are you told like those are the hijackers?
What do you mean? Yeah, like...
Well, I'd turn into the woman on the plane. Like, those guys aren't the one, like the...
Oh,
I try to get them to land
Go
the plane
crazy.
as fast as possible. And then, like, go crazy. Yeah. Just be like the crazy person.
Would you try to kill them on the plane? Remember, they probably have weapons.
Right, they had box cutters.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess... I don't know if they were sitting together. Well, I'd go to the one who's the farthest in the back, and I'd probably have my phone charger, and I'd try to strangle him with my phone charger.
Why the one that's in the back first?
Because then the other ones couldn't see him.
Oh, okay.
But then take his box cutter.
But don't
And
you
go
think
hit the
someone
next
would
guy.
notice if you... But wouldn't you think someone
would notice,
also...
but that would get the...
Also, this is 2001. You don't have a like iPhone charger.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, you're right.
Headphones?
Then I just caused a scene.
No, or maybe headphones.
I just caused a scene. Be like, we gotta get off this plane. 4 guys. They definitely land the plane and then just like don't let anyone near the cockpit. Probably die.
How are you going to prevent that, though? What do you mean? Don't let anyone near the cockpit? How you gonna stop them? They have box cutters, and they could also cut your headphones that you have to wrap around their neck with the box.
Right.
cutter.
No, but I don't think I would have the headphones. What's the technology like? This is a
like
stupid question.
there's
It's a
like
very
flip
sad.
phones.
It's a very sad event, but
It is.
I think I could convince some guys to help me if I was like, those guys, why do they have box cutters right now? And then they're like, oh shit. And then we just try to, because a lot of it was no one knew what was going on. Like no one was interfering. But if you like yell loud enough. Anyway, this is a sad story.
It is a sad story. Yeah.
Let's go to the next one.
Who would you rather box, Rico or Billy McFarland?
I mean, that's like two amazing choices. I'd kick both their asses.
Okay.
I mean, like,
you
I'd
rather?
probably take Billy because it would be more of a challenge.
Did he really come out with another Firefest?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was
Is it-
invited to go.
Yeah. Did
Gia.
Gia,
Gia.
did she put you in her list?
Yes. So basically, what happened was Billy McFarland put out a tweet that was like, "Who wants to come on Firefest 2 with me?" And Gia replied to the tweet as a joke with me and a couple of our friends, and he was like, "Okay, you're in," and then DM'd Gia, and was like,
he DM'd her?
He DM'd Gia and was like, "Hey, are you guys in?" And I think it's supposed to be this weekend.
What are the details? Like, where is this one?
Oh, it's
I didn't really look into it.
It's on Long Island.
Is it?
Yeah. It's either like near the Hamptons or something. It's in New York, I think. But he was
There
like,
aren't
"You
any
guys ready to
details. I guess
go?"
you got to pay to find out.
Well, also I mean, based on how Firefest 1 went, I don't know if there are a
Right.
ton
I'm
of
hoping
details.
nobody's going.
Right. So we were like, should we kind of go as a bit? And then
Yeah.
I live here now. I don't live in New York anymore, and we were kind of like, is that the best idea and way to spend our weekend?
Right.
Apparently it's
But yeah,
sold
we were
out.
chosen.
That's
I don't know who's
insane.
paying to go, but
I mean,
you do you.
Firefest me once, shame on me. Firefest
One of the
me twice.
guys that's in the documentary that went to the thing is like a friend of my friend. It's
Really?
like they had to get like a private jet or whatever to get them off the plane or something. Like, it's crazy.
So I'm actually signing up right now. How do you want to be involved? I want to report on it. Why?
Oh, do you want to get like a media pass on it?
I am
Investigative journalism.
a Barstool representative. I'm a Barstool Sports reporter.
Yeah.
I don't think this is gonna happen. But yeah, Firefest me once, shame on you. Firefest me twice, shame on me.
Yeah,
That is true.
that is true.
Firefest me 3 times. Fuck the peace signs.
Exactly, Billy. Okay. Ready for the next one?
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this? There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different religions that are being practiced, so who's to say which beliefs are correct? Growing up in a Catholic household, it was always reiterated in Mass, "For I am God and there is no other." But if that were the case, how come so many other religions exist, and why are their beliefs wrong?
I think that they're all, even though they're different religions, I think they're all attempts to describe the same thing. Like, I think they're all describing some sort of same energy, even though they might be different, monotheistic, polytheistic. They're all attempts at describing the world around us. Like, there's definitely that unknown we don't know about, and there definitely is like some sort of creation of this whole reality we're experiencing, and whoever that creator or whatever created this, we're just all trying to describe that one thing. No one's wrong. It's kind of like they all believe it for a reason, and if you kind of like, it's almost like understanding why people believe things for why they do is like that will really help you grow your worldview, because like if you're not willing to open your mind to things, like everyone's just trying to describe the same thing, and it's just like everyone developed a different way to do it. It's kind of like language. Mm-hmm. Like everyone has different languages. No one language is right, but they all have the same sort of right idea, which is to try to communicate with each other. That's what I think is like different religions.
Okay, I like that answer, Billy.
Yeah.
Taking a sharp left turn, Marry, fuck, kill. Big Cat, Dave, and PFT.
Oh man, I like my job. I'm pleading the fifth on this one. This is the first one I'm pleading a fifth on.
Okay. If you played Prime MJ 1-on-1 to 100, could you score 1 point? Loser is executed and it makes it. Wait.
Loser is executed.
Loser is
Losers,
executed. And
So
it's make it, take it, and MJ starts with the ball.
Huh.
Oh, it's a fight to the death?
Well, it's
If you don't score a point, you
you're
die.
killed. And it's make it, take it.
Well, then I just try to kill MJ. No, that'd be
No,
hard.
you just have to score 1 point on MJ.
Okay, I just foul the shit out of him every time.
Can you do that?
But then you're not getting the ball.
Yeah.
Right, but-
MJ would have to miss once, and
I
you would
think
have
you
to
could do
capitalize
it.
on that and score once.
Right. Well, what I would
Do
do,
you think
is...
you could do that? If
So
your
is
life
it by
on the line?
one? Is it by one?
Yeah.
It's by one, so he's 100 attempts. I'd foul him every time, so he'd keep getting attempts and just like try to foul the shit out of him so he doesn't score, to then increase the times where he may miss.
Yeah,
You know,
and then
just
you
set
can
the
put
tone, then get
yeah.
it, then just shoot it from 3.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get space, and then hopefully one of those go in, and I don't get killed. That would be my strategy. I don't know if it would work, but I think
That's
I
a
would
good
get 1
strategy.
point doing that.
Because I think if you could get the ball, like, at the top of the key or somewhere, you could just keep shooting. Like, at
Yeah.
least one would
I
go
mean,
in.
people have hit half-court shots.
Right.
Like,
But the
I
key
hit
would
3
be getting
threes
the
in my
ball.
pickup game last night, so...
Nice.
Okay.
Same thing.
Quick one. Best alcohol to buy for alcohol to volume to price ratio.
Coors Light.
True.
It's the best It's the best. 30 rack of Coors Light.
Are current depictions of aliens actually demons, or are ancient depictions of demons actually aliens?
Well, there are more people say angels. Like if you look up the biblical description of angels, they look a lot like some of the UFO objects they see today. I think this guy's a little inaccurate on what there's been parallels made. So like ancient demons are aliens. Oh, the Satan conspiracy Oh, the Greek mythological theory. This one's hard. Research original angels depiction versus today's aliens. There's
Got it.
like a lot of the stuff that Bob Lazar described sounds exactly like what the Bible described about. So in this, I think the angels are descriptions of aliens.
If you fought Floyd Mayweather at his fight weight, 147, for 8 3-minute rounds in a must-win by knockout scenario, who would win? Please also describe how you would approach the fight.
I do exactly what Logan Paul did. Logan Paul had the best fight strategy for Floyd Mayweather. I wrote a blog on it if you want to see a more in-depth answer, but you know, Floyd Mayweather, he's 147 pounds. I'd probably fight at 195. That would probably be my fight weight. Do I have to be 147, did he say?
I mean, if you fought Floyd Mayweather at his fight weight, I don't know.
Okay, so yeah, I do what Logan Paul did. He did the best, like he wrestled him so he couldn't get hurt, and they just threw big bombs from the outside, and then whenever he got close, he wrestled him. It was the perfect way to, try to not get hit and try to knock him out. I don't think I would. I really don't think I would, but that would be the strategy.
If you and 4 friends from work went into the NCAA Women's Division I basketball tournament as a 4 seed, how far in the tournament could you make it, and who would be your teammates?
We were the 4th seed. I think we could make it to the Final Four. If I had Pat,
Who was on your team?
Dana, I choose a lot of the guys from Nick Mulcahy.
Well, like, could you choose Mark Titus?
Or could you choose Pat Bev?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, choose
Titus?
Titus, Pat Bev. No, we'd win the whole thing. I don't think they're counting.
Yeah,
pro
with them
athletes.
you would.
With them, yeah. That's
Yeah,
unfair.
yeah.
Who
Well,
besides them?
I would
Let's
say, yeah.
Then I'd take Nick Mulcahy, Pat, Dana, and Jetski. But we'd be practicing, right? Yeah, I think we go to the Final Four.
Could you beat prime Ronda Rousey in boxing?
In boxing. In boxing, yeah. Not in MMA. Not in jiu-jitsu. She'd submit me in a second. But like Ronda Rousey wasn't a great striker. That's why she lost to Holly Holmes. She's like she doesn't have much reach. Ronda Rousey inspires me.
That's a good one, Billy.
Yeah.
All right, next one. All right, this one is intense. So what is the best humane and economical way to deal with individuals in the criminal justice system who will never make it out, life in prison or death penalty?
This is fucked up. So like they're either going to be in prison for life or the death penalty.
Mm-hmm. Which do you think is the more humane and economical way to deal with individuals like this?
Keep them life in prison with the option for assisted suicide. So
do you think a lot of them would take that?
Yeah. I think that's the only humane way because one, if they don't want to do life in prison, they can do that. Two, if they don't want to die, they can do life in prison. I think that's fair.
That's a good one, Bill.
Like instead of like we're going to choose whether you get the death penalty or life in prison.
But do you think it's unfair that they get to choose their punishment for such a terrible crime that they've committed?
Yeah, but the costs of the death penalty are so much higher than keeping on the taxpayer than keeping someone in prison for lifetime that just give them that option, which is a lot less expensive.
Good. I mean, I think that's a pretty good answer. I don't think there's a right answer or a wrong answer. I think it's just hard. Okay. Last question, I think is a good one to end off on. How do you think the universe was created?
It was definitely created out of another universe.
Expand on that.
Like the Big Bang had to come from somewhere. The Big Bang could have been like a creation of a wormhole in another universe that just sent that whole universe into this universe. That may not be physically possible. How do you guys think the universe was created?
I have
not a clue. Again, these were Billy lightning rounds. I didn't come prepared to defend my universe creation theory.
Let's do one more.
You want to do one more?
Sure.
Okay. Billy, what are your thoughts on Obama gay rumors that have been going on the last month?
They're probably bullshit. I have a feeling like a lot of those people back then, and they're like taking their writings from like the 70s. Like Bernie Sanders had a bunch of weird shit. I think they're all just like in college academics, like considering different theories that were being tossed around.
So Obama not gay.
I mean, fortunately, build one boat. I don't know. That's a
What?
build one boat. You're not a boat builder. It depends on what your definition is. Was he maybe bi-curious at one point? I don't know.
Who knows?
Okay. And that was a Billy lightning round. It was a bit slower than a lightning round I think was intended for, but
yeah.
But
It's okay.
That's us. I think that's just the name of this game at Macrodosing. But I think that's all we've got for today.
Sweet.
I hope everyone watched the Barstool Awards last night and they enjoyed their time. And they haven't happened yet, but hopefully Big T and PFT survived the fire of whatever happened. Because something's going to happen.
We don't know what, but
yeah. And I get to watch from the comfort of my home and not be scared.
I have a bad feeling for Big T.
For Big T?
Yeah.
no, I don't think so.
No, I don't think
I have a
that.
bad
I don't think
feeling
Big
for
T
Big
is
T.
the people.
I think his will be like a funny one,
I
not
think
a serious one.
I think his award that he's up for will be something Rico centered,
Yeah.
possibly also high noon centered.
Yeah.
I don't think Big T is like someone you pick on. I don't think that's who their attention is going to be focused on tonight. And PFT
he doesn't take jokes well enough to pick on.
No, yeah, like I don't think he's the person. I don't think he's done anything too bad where they're like, let's pick on Big T today.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I think there are better people to throw fire at than Big T.
Yeah, many.
But again, this is recorded before them, so if this
It could be different.
if this age is like milk, let me know. But we'll be watching tonight, and I hope you guys watched and had a blast. And yeah, I think that's all we've got. Bill, you got anything else?
No. Hope everyone has a great weekend. See you guys back on Monday.
Full squad back on Tuesday.
Full squad. Arian will be back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
See you guys next week. Love you guys.
Sweet. Love you guys.